you for your interest in the all-new Radial Pro-HD or heavy-duty scrap removal shaker conveyor system. Now, we just showed you some brief video clips of this system moving a variety of materials down multiple conveyor trays. So now I'd like to take a couple of moments to discuss some of the features and benefits that this HD system has to offer. First of all, the HD shaker drive produces 875 pounds of push force at 80 psi. This system also has a robust 1 3/4 inch diameter chrome-plated steel pivot shaft. The pivot rack assembly is supported by 2-bolt flange bearings, both at the shaker drive and the pivot rack support assemblies. So the 875 pounds of force translates into the ability of this shaker system to handle pivot rack assemblies up to 12 feet long. So this means that this shaker system can handle press beds up to 12 feet wide. All right, so one of the unique features about this Radial Pro shaker system is the fact that it eliminates leverage force caused by off-center loading with respect to the pivot rack assembly and the shaker drive. Now, the way that we do that is this shaker drive actually produces a rotational motion internally. And that motion forces the pivot rack assembly to rotate backward and forward. And then we actually support and trap the pivot rack assembly between radial flange bearings out on the pivot rack support assemblies as well as at the shaker drive. By supporting and trapping this rack, any leverage force that would be produced by off-center loading does not translate into the shaker drive, and that's really important. So for instance, when you add a conveyor tray onto the pivot rack assembly and you turn the shaker on, it just rotationally moves the tray backward and forward and does not have any ill effect on the inner workings of the shaker drive. Now, because of the fact that we have eliminated the off-center loading issues with this shaker system, this allows us to be able to mount the shaker drive anywhere we want on 3-inch increments from the far right-hand side of your press bed to the far left-hand side. Now, the way that we accomplish this is there are corresponding holes in both the pivot shaft and the tray shaft, and the shaker drive actually connects to the pivot shaft so you can move it on 3-inch increments anywhere you want down the entire length of this pivot rack assembly. Also, a great feature of eliminating the off-center loading is the fact that you can now mount your conveyor tray anywhere you want to on the pivot rack assembly, regardless of where the shaker drive is located, without any adverse effect to either the efficiency of material movement or lever force being translated into the shaker drive. So you can mount it all the way down on the left, in the center, or all the way down on the right-hand side. All right, another feature of all Radial Pro systems is the fact that they can be mounted to your press bolster by using either adjustable faceplate mounts, which can be moved upward or downward 1 inch, or adjustable T-slot tongue mounts, which can also be moved upward or downward 1 inch. Now, these T-slot tongue mounts come with clamp plates and fasteners. If you can't use the clamp plates because they cause an obstruction, we give you optional set screws to install in the tongues so that you can fasten it without the clamp plates. Also, I wanted to make you aware that the pivot rack support assemblies are also mounted with either adjustable T-slot tongue mounts or adjustable faceplate mounts. Now, if you opt to purchase a system with adjustable faceplate mounts, that system will also include what we call a transfer drill template. And this drill template will assist you with locating and pilot drilling the holes that are required for mounting not only the shaker drive, but the pivot rack support assemblies. Another feature of all Radial Pro shaker systems is the fact that you can reverse the direction of material flow. If you look, there's a flow arrow located on the top plate of the shaker drive. This is an indicator of the direction that material will be flowing in. If you want to flow material in the reverse direction, you simply can turn the shaker drive around and relocate your mounting onto the opposite side of the shaker. This is made possible by the fact that the shaker drive is symmetrical. An important benefit of all Radial Pro shaker technology is the fact that these shaker drives are sealless. And because they don't have any seals, they don't require any inline oil lubrication for your air system. Also, they're very efficient with respect to the consumption of compressed air. The Radial Pro-HD drive only consumes a little more than 1.5 cubic feet per minute of compressed air. And based on the cost for producing compressed air, this shaker drive will only cost you pennies per hour to operate. Also, each Radial Pro system comes with a filter regulator assembly with an industrial on-off air valve and 10 feet of industrial air line with a quick remove disconnect for attaching to the shaker drive. All right, another important benefit that all Radial Pro shaker systems include are these tray support platforms. Now, these tray support platforms can be mounted with either adjustable T-slot tongue mounts or adjustable faceplate mounts. If you opt for a system with adjustable faceplate mounts, we provide you with a transfer drill template to assist you in locating and pilot drilling the holes that are required for mounting your platforms. Now, there's a number of benefits that these platforms provide you with. So one is to provide a stable support surface for the underside of your tray. This will reduce vibration and flexing and really improve tray life. Secondly, it levels your tray. And that promotes nice, efficient movement of material down the conveyor tray. Thirdly, suspend the tray above any obstacles that may lie below. For instance, you want to keep the tray off the top of the bolster plate or off of any obstructions that may occur on top of the bolster plate. So we want to suspend the tray so that it doesn't rub metal to metal, and that will really enhance the life of your conveyor trays. In summary, each Radial Pro heavy-duty shaker conveyor system includes the following components: a Radial Pro HD shaker conveyor drive with either adjustable faceplate mounting or adjustable T-slot tongue mounting, a filter regulator assembly with on-off air dump valve, 10 feet of industrial air line with a quick disconnect fitting, a pivot shaft, the required number of tray shaft connectors, a tray shaft, the required number of pivot rack support assemblies with either adjustable T-slot tongue mounting or adjustable faceplate mounting, tray support platforms with either adjustable T-slot tongue mounting or adjustable faceplate mounting. And if you opt to purchase a system with adjustable faceplate mounting, your system will also include transfer drill templates for helping you to locate and pilot drill the holes required for mounting the shaker drive and the pivot rack support assemblies, as well as a transfer drill template for mounting the tray support platforms. Thank you for your interest in the Radial Pro-HD heavy-duty scrap removal shaker conveyor system. I'd just like to conclude this presentation with a live demonstration of just how well this system resists off-center loading. To accomplish this, we're going to turn the shaker drive on, set at 40 psi. It will be generating just a little bit less than 450 pounds of push force, and I'm going to apply my full body weight against the pivot rack assembly 6 feet away from the center of the shaker drive, just to show you the level of resistance this system offers. Then we'll conclude with me installing the trays on the pivot rack assembly and moving some material down the last tray just to show you the efficiency of scrap movement. So let's go ahead and turn it on.